Hey everybody, it's Brian and thank you for stopping by the channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the brand new to the market today ProGLOW Custom Dynamics Headlight System. So here it is, the Custom Dynamics ProGLOW lighting system. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to get these, to install them, and to review them for you. This is going to be the quality that you've come to expect from a Custom Dynamics light that's going to be brighter, more intense than your OEM light, as well as adding the additional option, and something I think is really cool is the RGB halo light that's around the light. So for the Ultra Limited, I have my main light, my passing lights, as well as this Bluetooth controller that's going to allow me to control the whole system. What's really cool with this controller is you can do an add-on to put in motor lighting, ground effects, all the other lighting systems that a lot of folks are using nowadays. And it controls, this one controller controls the whole system, and you can make it operate together, which I think is a really cool function. The other option that I really like is with it being RGB, you're not stuck to a standard color. So maybe you want to run white for higher visibility, but maybe you want to run red or blue or any other color of the spectrum to match your bike. So we've talked enough about the lights. Let me give you a quick look at them. Check out this cool packaging they've got here. It's got this really cool magnet here. Boop. So we're going to take this out. This is going to be a standard 7-inch headlight with this ultra cool RGB halo. This is going to allow you to change the coloring, to do all sorts of cool patterns, as I said. So without any further ado, let's get into the install.
So now we're out at the bike. You can see the Custom Dynamics turn signals on the bottom, the standard lighting system in the center, and you can see the Harley turn signals on the top. And you can see just how much brighter the Custom Dynamics lights are there. So let's get installing here. We're going to take off the passing lamps. We're going to disconnect this connector here. Now I'm only going to show you the left side of the bike when I do it, rather to keep it from being repetitive. Now I replaced the whole lighting ring on my Ultra Limited, so I went ahead and took the whole light out. We're just going to disconnect it here. Take off the side passing lamps. I have hex connectors on mine, which I believe are not standard. A little bit more difficult with a hand tool, but you can get it done. You want to then disconnect the passing lamp connector there, pressing your nail in and just pulling off gently. Now what I did is I disconnected the screws for the bottom of the fairing to give me more room to work, and you'll see that come into play later. Here we're simply going to mark the passing lamp mount, and I'm selecting an area that's not going to be in the area that has the double layered. You'll see when I spin it around here how it has the double chrome there. You want to find an area that you can go straight through. So for the passing lamps, you're going to be drilling this hole through to run the cord that's going to allow the color for the ProGLOWs to work. We're going to use the drill. Take your time here. It's a little difficult with it being rounded, but I was able to get through it pretty easily with just taking my time. Now, once we have that done, we're going to cut 3 inches from the connector to allow us to be able to run that. So I just used a pair of scissors. You could use wire cutters, whatever. Now I'm just putting the passing lamp fixture back on, fast forwarding it so I'm not to bore you. Once that's done, we're going to put the passing lamp in. We're going to put the ring that keeps it centered. We're going to make sure that we're going with the right connectors, the alignment for the connectors, and connect that. And then we're going to run the cable through the grommet and work that out. Taking our time, we don't want to, even though it does have the grommet, you don't want to pinch anything or potentially ruin that cable. Now we're just going to align the passing lamp, put the ring around it, and then tighten it up with a Phillips screwdriver. Next, you're going to locate the gap in the fairing there for the ultra limited, and you're going to work that cable through. That's why I loosened up the fairing. It was a lot easier to have that extra free space. You can do it without loosening it up, but I would highly recommend that you take your time, loosen up the fairing, and have a little bit more room to work with. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the headlight back in. I'm going to use the included adapter, connect the adapter, and then screw the headlight in. Putting the fixture on, and then we'll add the final trim once we're done there. Now we're putting on the ring on the outside, lining that up, working in that Phillips screw, and just tightening it down. Now we're going to go ahead and take the seat off. And we're going to take the brackets off to get into the battery. You want to take your time here. There's certainly a lot of connectors to deal with. Then we're going to take the ProGLOW connector, and we're going to put red and blue onto the positive, and then we're going to put black onto the negative. Once that's done, we're going to locate zone. We're going to put the controller connector. You can put it wherever you want. I put it below my heat deflectors on the side, and you'll see that earlier. So I just slid that through the frame, and then we're just going to tighten everything back up. Now we're going to go ahead and strip the wires. And once we have our wires stripped on both sides of the cable going through the bike, as well as the connectors that we cut off, we're going to apply some heat shrinks. This seemed a little bit more difficult than I thought it would be, or I should say it sounded a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. But I used a heat gun, took my time, and I didn't find it to be that difficult at all. You definitely want to take your time with it. You want to make sure that you have a narrow path for the heat to go through, so you're not going to heat up the wiring or potentially melt anything. And you're going to do this with all 4 of the connectors on the bike, taking that heat shrink connector. And again, you just want to take your time. You want to let it cool. The outside temperature was pretty cool that day, so it was a lot easier to do. It would cool down pretty quick. But you're going to go ahead and do that with all 4 connectors. You can also use a torch or a lighter. A lighter obviously would be a little bit more difficult, but you do have options. But I found a heat gun to be the best for this. And of course, you're going to be doing this on the other side as well. Now that we're done that, we're going to take these bolts off the fuel tank to get us some room to work. Now, I was lucky enough to work with Todd from Custom Dynamics, and Todd gave me a really great pro tip here. Purchase yourself a doorstop and use the doorstop underneath the tank to keep it nice and elevated. It's going to give you a lot of room to work and make things so much easier. So here, now that we have the bolts out, we're just going to lift up on the tank. We're going to take our rubber door stopper, and it's going to give us a lot of room to work. Now that that's done, we're going to take 2 of the 12-inch connectors, and we are going to put the 12-inch extenders, and we're going to put those extenders on the ProGLOW connector cable that's coming out of the headlight. So we're going to have 24 inches of extension. We're just going to clip them in. And now we're going to take a zip tie on this main cable path there that you see with the wrapping around it. Just going to run a zip tie behind it, and I'm going to take all 3 cables and cinch them up. Again, you don't want to cinch them up too hard. You don't want to damage any of your wiring. It's very important in this step that when you have them zip tied in, you get the bike to go to lock on both the left and the right sides. You can make sure that you're not putting any extra tension on those cables. It's going to be extremely important because the first time you go to lock on either side of the bike, you could potentially rip them out. So again, just take your time. You don't want to zip tie it too hard, and you want to clip that once it's done and situated. Here I'm just checking for lock to make sure I have clearance. And now with the tank up, we're going to run the cables underneath it. I put the 3-in-1 extender on there as well. I didn't include it in the steps, but that is included with the kit, and that's going to include making the passing lamps as well as the headlight be connected to channel 1. Now we're going to check our fitment, make sure that we have a really clean connection there through. We're going to make sure there's no extra pressure so we can ensure that there's going to be no problems. So now we're going to take that 3-in-1 connector, and we're going to connect it into channel 1. Channel 1 is the zone that runs for the headlights and the passing lamps. We're going to pop that in, make sure it's nice and clean. Now we're just going to do a little bit of cable management. And again, make sure everything that's free. Take your time here. Make sure that nothing's going to pinch. Now we're just going to put the tank back together by connecting it with the bolts. I can't say enough about having a cordless impact gun here. Really helped the process go smoothly. Now we're going to take that controller that we put through the frame, put the 3M tape, and tape it to the back of the deflector for the heat deflector there. I found that to be a good place to put it. It's easy to reach, and it's going to be inconspicuous. The nice part about this switch is the switch has an LED light that lights up underneath the bike, so you can see the switches turned on or off. You just want to press on there firmly to make sure that that tape seats really well, and it gives it to adhere. I prepped it with an alcohol wipe to just make sure I was getting a really good connection. Now we're going to take the extra 2 and 3 channels that are open there, and we're going to put the protectors on there. So they're going to be terminators. They're going to keep it clean, not allow any water in there, and keep the connections nice and clean. So when you go and add your other effects to the bike, and here I'm just kind of snugging it in, trying to find some room for it and keeping everything out. You can certainly want to, you're certainly going to want to take your time with cable management here and make sure that nothing's going to pinch. Now we're just going to go ahead and put the seat on. And as far as the install, we are done. Now we just need to pair the app. Now you can see that I'm out on the road at night. You can see that it doesn't have the shadowing that the standard Daymaker has. It's a really nice, intense 6000K light. Now I'm throwing it on the high beams. You can see it puts that center square up there. You can see how far that light's projecting in the street lights. I'm sorry, in the street signs there. But I found the light to be a lot better than the stock light. It's a lot more intense and certainly going to be, you're going to be able to see a lot more on the road.
All right, so as you can see, we've just turned on the bike and we've got all the lights on, flashing in the standard configuration, showing it's not paired. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my iPhone. I'm going to have downloaded the app. This works on Android as well, but today I'll be showing you it on iPhone. It's going to say the ProGLOW app. I'm going to choose device. I'm going to select ProGLOW LEDs. I'm going to scan. I'm going to find my controller, and I'm going to select it. And you'll see once it establishes a solid color, now it's green, you can see that I am connected. So this is the standard app default. When it opens up, as solid on. Solid on here, you can see we're in the green spectrum, greenish blue, for 1, which is the zone that we have for our headlights and our running lights. If I rotate this around, I can show you that I can change my lights
to any color that I would like to select, or I can go to the center and make it 1. I also can then select breathe mode, which will make my lights dim back and forth. You can change the color temperature on that and have it whatever you'd like. I really like this deep blue. It sort of mimics the blue pinstriping that I have on the Ultra, so I like that as well. Before we get too far into this, I'm going to click on the gear. I want to go on battery monitoring, and I want to turn battery saver on. This way, if I get to 11.5 volts, it will shut the bike off, the LEDs, if I have accidentally left them on. So you want to make sure you have that on. So now we're going to go ahead and just go through some of the themes. Now I'm going to be doing another video on this later on to show you more of the ins and outs of the apps once I have the motor kit installed with the ground effects. That install review will be coming shortly, and then I'll have a review to go a little bit more in depth with the app. So now that we are running with the app, let's go ahead and go into themes. So this is ride mode. That is amber for the front there. We can change it to white, and then we can change it to red. White, I think, is a really good profile for riding at night. If you really want to be seen, I think the more white light you have on the bike, the better. So we're going to go ahead and turn that off. We're going to go into range mode, and it has all sorts of flashing and hip hop modes. And that's kind of a neat mode, I think. Again, if you're doing a bike show and the bike's static, it's sitting there, attracts a lot of attention. It's a really cool look for it. Has the wave function. And you can set the different patterns of that. If I go into, say, wave 1, which is my zone, click on the gear, I can change my color profiles as well as the wave profile. So again, this is just going to be a high level to give you an idea of how the app works. We're not going to go crazy in depth here. I'm going to go into chill. You can see it sort of just rotates through the colors. Again, really cool effect. I can go into custom, and I can set that up for how I'd want that to be. Or I can set it up for strobe and make it pulsate. Go into chase mode. This is the flame option. I love this option. I think it's really cool. Gives you the ability to just sort of let it circle like that. And if I select on zone 1 here, I can change the colors, I can change the patterns, I can change the length of the patterns. I can go into Patriot mode. I think this one's really cool. This would be great for a Labor Day parade or something like that. Really cool. Go into Meteor mode. Again, it's a really cool effect, and you can go in and you can customize this to change the colors and do all sorts of things there. And you have tropics. Again, this is just various different variations for zone 2. You can make it light up and do a little bit more of a chase sequence. Zone 2 would be on the back of the bike beyond the headlights. You have a custom feature. It's a really cool color combination as well. And you have a chase feature. You have a music feature as well, so if there's music playing, it'll dance to the beat. It's pretty neat. But that's going to be the basic setup of it. It also has a timer that you can set up, so you can have the lights come on and off at a certain time. I really like that feature as well. If you're out running at night, you can have the lights come on automatically. If you don't want to run the whole system, you can have that come on at a certain predetermined time and then shut off. And of course it would shut off if you either turn the switch off or it goes below the battery level that it's been set up for. So that is the basic ins and outs of the app. As always, thank you for watching. If you've liked this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribing, and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all my latest videos. As always, you can find me on Instagram. Send me an instant message if you'd like to talk about this install or any other videos I've had. As always, thank you for watching. Stay safe and remember, you are not alone.